along with Suresh. And now I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Sunil Gupta. And yes, we're going to introduce him. Anita ma'am, please do the needful. Kindly introduce him
Yes.
and share the details about him.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Just a moment.
And starting off with that, he's a graduate from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi, a chartered accountant and a cost accountant by profession, has been with a Japanese multinational, a corporate finance for more than 25 years. Similar number of years have been associated with various finance and investment organizations, have been consulting and investing in various financial instruments. He's a foodie by choice and fond of traveling to new places with family, prosperity mentor, and an upcoming author as well. Founder, CEO of Prosperity Investors Hub. He is also on a mission to mentor more than 1 lakh young professionals. That's wonderful. That's what we require nowadays. And entrepreneurs to lead a life of real prosperity by investing wisely in GTP, which he's going to tell the full form also. So I'm inviting on board Mr. Sunil Gupta. Please be here, Mr. Sunil Gupta. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Ina and Anita, for such a wonderful introduction. And I know this golden triangle of prosperity. Everybody wants to prosper, right? And I'll share my screen before I start the presentation. And so both you MCs are doing a great, wonderful job. You're managing the show. And today my topic of presentation is golden triangle of prosperity, right? And before I start my presentation, I think it is running automatically. One second. So what I'll do, I will not do a full share because I think it is going automatically, forward. So my topic of presentation is golden triangle of prosperity. And before I start my presentation, my deep gratitude to the entire team of World Transformation Organization and Amplify for organizing such an event and giving an opportunity to us for sharing our views with the world and transform billions of life, right? And special gratitude to Kushalji and Suchishmita because she introduced me to this network, and Kushalji actually given me a slot for speaker, right? And today my presentation, the content actually includes a quick intro, my mission, which actually keeps me live on everyday basis, the code of honor, which is the value system, the guiding principles, then assets redefined for investments, and then the term UNGTP, which I call the universal power and the golden triangle of prosperity. Then my connection details, and I never say the end, actually is basically thank you for a new beginning, right? So who am I is a quick intro. My name is Sunil Gupta. I'm a prosperity mentor. I'm a graduate from Shri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi, a chartered accountant and a cost accountant by profession. I'm an investor and advisor for various financial instruments, avid reader and upcoming author, foodie and fond of traveling to new places with family, and founder CEO of the Prosperity Investors Hub. The mission is something which which keeps you going on everyday basis, because mission is something, when you wake up in the morning, this is the purpose you're living for, right? So everybody actually should have a mission. So for me, the mission is, I am a prosperity mentor. I am the founder of Prosperity Investors Hub, And I'm on a mission to mentor 100,000 young corporate professionals and entrepreneurs to lead a life of real prosperity by investing wisely in GTP and create MSI. The terms I'll explain later. I'll come down to code of honor for me and my community, which is Prosperity Investors Hub. Code of honor actually is basically your strong pillars, your guiding force. Whenever you are in a situation you are not able to make decisions, so these are the core principles which helps you in making decisions. So for me, these are 6 pillars which are kept as guiding force for me and my community. So I'll start with number 6, which is prosperity. In the normal course, prosperity is taken as financial prosperity, but real prosperity is much bigger and larger than financial prosperity. So that is the ultimate goal, right? Number 5 is long-term visualization. So whatever action we do, we consider the long-term implication of that particular action. So this is our another guiding principle. Like when we take any action, we actually consider what is the long-term impact of this action and accordingly take a call. Number 4 is automation. In today's world, you cannot ignore technology. Rather, you should adopt technology and use it to the best of your advantage, right? Remember a quarter century before, we used to have telephones, right? We used to have telephones with wire connected and the round dial to dial the number, right? But at that point of time, nobody actually has imagined that there will be a time that by one small instrument, you can connect to the entire world, and that also without a cable, right? So the technology actually evolved over the period. So one should not, be fearful of the technology, and they should adopt and use it to the best of their advantage, right? Then number 3 is LDT, which is learn, do, teach, the golden triangle of prosperity. The idea behind this philosophy is basically whatever we recommend, we actually has hands-on experience on that. So we don't recommend or we don't, suggest anybody unless we have experienced that. And this also supports our continuous learning, right? Then number 2 is community. We believe in the power of community and collaboration. We are not an isolated person, right? We are part of a larger community. So whatever we actually does for the community and with the community. So we stay associated with them. And top of it all, our main pillar is contribution. So we have committed that 10% of our net profit to the social causes, especially supporting the education and the food. So these are the 6 pillars which are our guiding principles for me and my community, which is Prosperity Investors Hub. I'll go to the next slide. So when we say, we need to invest in assets, we must redefine the assets. So what are assets? So just think about it. I'll give you 10 seconds. Just think about it. What are the assets which you feel you need to invest in? Believe me, the assets keep changing with time for different persons at different point of time. For example, a child, with his gifted, toys, he considers them as his best, assets or best price possession. As the child grows and finishes his education and his close circle of friends is his prize assets. That is what he considers. And once he starts earning money and gets into the regular employment and either in the employment or in the business, then his experience and his new circle of friends, colleagues becomes his main assets, right? So you must review and redefine your definition of assets for investment, where you're spending your time, where exactly you want to invest. So I'll introduce to the concept of GTP, the primary assets where one should invest, right? And before I introduce to the concept of GTP, I will like to touch upon a story, which is the story of king with the golden wish, right? This looks so tempting, if you have so many bars of, gold. But why, I love stories, because the facts are facts, but stories has impact, right? So everybody wants to hear story because it carries deep meaning. So this is I'll only quickly touch down this story. Like, this is the story of a king who was very, greedy and fond of gold. So one day his wish was granted that whatever he touches, it will become gold, right? So once this was granted, this king becomes very happy that he is now the richest person in the world. Okay, so he went to his palace. He touches the, the walls and pillars of the palace, and suddenly it becomes a gold palace. Right? He was very happy. He says like he is the super king now. His minister came to meet him, and the moment he touches, his ministers become a gold statue. Now he went back to his family and wanted to have some food. And the moment he touches food, the food becomes gold and he cannot eat. His daughter came to him, and the moment he touches her, it becomes a gold. So it becomes a horrific incident. And end of the day, he just could not survive, right? So just imagine this kind of situation. How do you consider this story? Where do you stand yourself? And do you really want these kind of assets, or what is your definition of assets? So I'll keep this story open and will give you some food for thoughts on that. Now I'll introduce you to the concept of U and the GTP. So U is the center force of this golden triangle, and why I say U is the center is because you are part of the universe, right? So you must believe in this universe, or this unique power, or God, or nature, or whatever you call it, or whatever you believe in, because there is a system which is running the entire system, and you are part of that system. So you must believe in this, right? So besides this, there is a constant exchange of energy between you and the universe. So you are part of this, right? So the main asset where you should invest is GTP, which is Golden Triangle of Prosperity. The very first asset is health. So H stands for health. And mostly when you consider health, it is termed as physical health. And even for physical health, there is a simple diet. To stay fit physically, you need the normal diet and physical exercise. But most of the people even are not able to manage this simple solution. With the result, they suffer physically, right? But in the larger perspective, the health is not only physical health, it also includes your mental and emotional health, right? For to stay mentally fit, you need to really understand what is the kind of information you are absorbing on a regular basis, right? For your emotional health, you need to consider what kind of people you are surrounded with, okay? Or what is the company you are keeping. So that will affect your emotional health. And I consider health as the most important asset. You know, in fact, there's an old saying, in India, that "Pehla sukh nirogi kaya." So how many of you actually agree that health is your biggest asset? Or you want to exchange health with some other asset, right? So this is food for thought for you. So the first asset where you should invest wisely and consciously is your health. Now the next asset where you should consider your investment on a wisely and cautiously is wealth, right? This is what everyone is looking for. So in normal terminology, wealth people consider as financial wealth, right? The financial wealth actually, uh, people spend at least 15 to 20 years in preparing themselves to start earning money, right? When they start earning money, they hardly spend any time to manage that money. So the basic concept itself, is not being taken care. The financial wealth actually includes the making money, the managing money, and multiplying money. But in real sense, people end up spending their time and energy only in making money, and after that they doesn't know, right? And besides, as an asset, your financial wealth, under the wealth segment, The bigger asset is your intellect, your intelligence, your experience, your education is your biggest asset, right? So your finances may go up and down, but your intellect, is remains with you. So when we talk about the wealth, your important wealth is financial wealth, intellect, and there is a new breed of asset which has come up in last few years, which is called digital wealth. So how many of you actually agree that digital wealth is a new breed of asset where everyone should invest in? Have you heard of your emailing list, your list of connections, your digital content like YouTube video? As Mithil in the previous presentation mentioned that you have so much content available, right? So the digital wealth is the new form of wealth which everybody should invest cautiously and wisely. And rather, this community, is the largest community of digital teachers and coaches, and you will realize the kind of digital wealth these people are creating. So, how many of you actually agree that when you try to create wealth, you must invest in your digital content, right? So, any guesses for the R? The third asset where you should invest cautiously and wisely. So you're right. R stands for relationships, right? In general, when we talk about relationship, it goes relationship with one-to-one or maybe one-to-many kind of situation. But the real relationship and the most important relationship is with yourself. How I look at it is when you stand in front of mirror, what is the image of you in yourself? How do you look, at yourself? Does it give positive vibration or negative vibration? Do you have positive, view about yourself or negative view about yourself? So if you, release positive vibration, definitely your surrounding relationship will be very positive, right? So the most important relationship is your relationship with yourself. And then comes your nears and dear, which is your family, your close friends, and all. And besides this, the relationships comes with all others like your colleagues, your neighbors, your society, and all other things. But believe me, you cannot ignore because you're part of the a larger society. So you should invest cautiously and wisely, in self, in near and dears, and all others. So believe me, if you invest in all these three assets, which is health, wealth, and relationship, you will be much wiser and you will prosper in real terms. There's another questions comes, sometimes people ignore one portion of it, So can you really imagine that you can compromise maybe any one component, or you can just only pick one? Like you say, okay, I'm okay with only health, and it's okay if I don't have any wealth and relationship. Or maybe you can say, okay, I want a lot of wealth, but I can compromise on health or relationships, right? So imagine what is the value of these three assets in your life, and accordingly you should invest in these three assets, right? So this is where we stand. And here again, I'll touch upon quickly one story that there was a rich businessman who actually visited in the desert with a lot of money, some food and water. And fast forwarding the story, the businessman actually lost in the desert, right? And the point came when he was about to die because he's finished with his food and water. He's only left with money, right? So uh, that point of time, he's ready to, compromise on anything. So he's ready to surrender everything uh, in exchange of maybe some water, and somebody can guide him for, you know, uh, showing an exit route from the desert. So that is what is the situation. So this is just a food for thought again from this story, that imagine what is your most precious asset, which, for which you can compromise rest of other things, right? And you should invest cautiously and wisely in those assets. If you consider me, I have decided not to compromise on any of them. I want good health, I want good wealth, and I want good relationships all around. And I don't ignore the universe, that universal power, which is running the entire system, right? And though even though I have specialized in wealth segment, but I have good network in both health and relationships. So in case you want to hear it further and you want to really know more and understand the concept, you can get in touch with me. Uh, these are my social connects. My website is mentorsunil.com, which will be up maybe during this month. You can immediately connect on my VIP Telegram group, the LinkedIn profile, and Facebook page. Rest of the thing, actually, the website, the Facebook group, and YouTube channel is coming shortly, because I'll start investing in the digital wealth very soon. And as I mentioned, I never say the end. I always say thank you for a new beginning. Thank you very much. And over to MC's group.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
That
and
was
Anita.
wonderful session, Mr. Sunil sir. And I'm so sorry I was not able to introduce you as my mobile went down. And I thank you really heartfully for Hina ma'am taking that opportunity to introduce Mr. Sunil sir. And it was a wonderful session. Actually, overall, what I felt in my point of view, the wealth is also very much deeply connected with spirituality, the way you
Right.
spoke about the wealth aspect today. So that was my learning as well. Thank you so much for that. Over to you, Ina ma'am. What do you say about that?
Yes, ma'am. Whatever the Sunil Gupta sir has said, he has given a lot of insight into it, how GTP is required and how wealth, relationship, and a lot of things are required to taken care of in terms of wealth, where we do not actually focus on. He has enlightened us in so many ways. And thank you so much, Sunil Gupta sir, for lots of insight. I think our audience, as well as people who are sitting here with us, have got enlightened with lot of things what you have spoken about. We all knew these things, but then focusing on it, polishing on it is definitely required. And especially during this time in the digital era, all these things have come up immensely. And coming back now, thank you so much, Sunil sir. And